Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are today's headlines dominated by the victory of M. Venkaiah Naidu, the Vice President-elect. M. Venkaiah Naidu will be India's next Vice President. The NDA candidate won today with 516 votes in his favour. Rival and former West Bengal Governor Gopal Krishna Gandhi got 244 votes. Vice President-elect Venkaiah Naidu to take oath on August 11th. Vice President-elect Venkaiah Naidu to take oath on the 11th of August says he expresses his gratitude to every MP who supported his candidature, cutting across party lines. And nation celebrates Venkaiah Naidu's victory. Prime Minister Narendra Modi extends his best wishes for a fruitful and motivating tenure. Congratulations pour in from political parties. M. Venkaiah Naidu has been elected the next Vice President of India. NDA candidate Naidu defeated Congress-led UPA pick Gopal Krishna Gandhi. Here's what he said as he addressed the media just a little while ago.
Friends, I am humbled by the honor bestowed on me by electing me to the office of the Vice President of India, and by virtue of which I will also be acting as the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. I am grateful to the honourable members of the Parliament belonging to different political parties who, in an overwhelming manner, have supported my candidature, cutting across party lines. I am really grateful to the Honourable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Bhai Modi, to the BJP President, Sri Amit Bhai Shah, to the leaders of the various NDA constituents, and also the parties which are not part of the NDA, AIDMK, Palaniswamy, AIDMK, OP Pannirselvam, our TRS, Telangana Rashtra Samiti, led by Sri Chandrasekhar Rao ji, then YSR Congress of the Andhra Pradesh, who are all kind enough to extend their support to me. I am also thankful to the Indian National Lok Dal, which is not a constituent of the NDA, but still they have extended their support also to me in this election. I am thankful to all of them because they have all considered and bestowed me with this great responsibility. I feel particularly overwhelmed by this honor conferred on a common man like me with a background of agriculture, farmer. Getting to this August 1st is an important milestone in India's democratic journey. This speaks for the beauty and strength of our parliamentary democracy. Getting a son of a farmer to this August office of the second highest position as far as the Constitution is concerned. Parliament is the highest forum of our democratic polity, which is to enable socio-economic development of our country through necessary legislative measures for bettering the lives of the people of India. As the Chairman of Rajya Sabha, I will sincerely try to steer the functioning of the House to enable it to effectively further the larger interest of the nation. I will uphold the dignity and decorum of the House with the cooperation of all members by acting as per the rules of the House procedure and also the conventions that were set by the President, set by our great leaders who have all members of the Rajya Sabha and who have presided over the upper house earlier. It shall be my endeavour to enable every member of the House makes a meaningful contribution towards addressing the issues being faced by our nation. Once again, my humble pranams to all the people of the country and also particularly to the members of the Parliament belonging to different political parties. From today onwards, of course, from the day I filed my nomination, I am non-party man. I will try to take everybody along with me, and I will try to live up to the expectations of the people. Thank you. Namaskar. Dhanyavad.
Meanwhile, opposition candidate Gopal Krishna Gandhi congratulated Venkaiah Naidu on his thumping victory. Gandhi also thanked all those who voted for him, saying that they voted for free speech and pluralism. Gandhi could only manage 244 votes in comparison to Naidu's 516.
Voted for me, I refer to those who have voted for me, and I believe the number that has voted for me is beyond the expectations of certain calculations. I thank all of them very deeply and sincerely. They represent different political persuasions. They come from different parts of India, and they had all come together to vote for what they thought was the national good, which is the affirmation of the right to free thought, to free speech, the right to hold a different opinion, and the duty to serve the cause of pluralism and secularism in India. I thank all of them.
Well, our correspondent Vishal Dahiya joins us for more on this particular story. Well, Vishal, it was a foregone conclusion and everyone called it a symbolic battle. Venkaiah Naidu there winning with a thumping majority. You know, the NDA constituents and the BJP were assured of 485 votes as far as this electoral college was concerned, but surpassing that number as well, because non-NDA constituents also voted for Venkaiah Naidu, and we saw the Vice President-elect, you know, naming some of those parties and thanking them as well.
Well, yes, indeed, Frank, the final figure of 516 to 244 itself speaks of the magnitude of this victory as far as the new Vice President-elect M. Venkaiah Naidu is concerned. Definitely, numbers, if you look at the numbers and you do the simple calculation and arithmetic, these were not the numbers which even the NDA managers would have been hoping, because the figures which were doing the round were somewhere around 490, 495, somewhere around 500, but getting 516 is a clear indication that some of the fence-sitters have also moved towards M. Venkaiah Naidu at the last moment. So clearly, it was, you know, pretty much evident since beginning when the nominations were filed that the odds are stacked pretty much in favor of the NDA nominee M. Venkaiah Naidu rather than the opposition candidate Gopal Krishna Gandhi. But then, as in democracy, the contest happens and the election did take place, and finally we have the result. The Vice President-elect has himself thanked all the members of the Electoral College as well as the people of the country at large. Now onwards will be the time when everybody's eyes will be on the new VP-elect. He will take charge of the new responsibilities on 11th of August. But before that, what we are being told is that the new Vice President-elect, along with his family, will be going to Tirupati tomorrow evening, and then take darshans in the temple there on Monday morning. He is considered to be a very devout follower of Tirumala deity. So that's the first step which he is going to take as far as being the new Vice President-elect is concerned. And then come the 11th of August, he will oath as the new Vice President, that is the 13th Vice President of India, and then take charge of the Chair of Vice President as well as the Chairman of the Upper House, that is Rajya Sabha.
Indeed, you know, as far as today's election itself is concerned, Vishal, there were 785 MPs who had to cast their vote, but only 771 ended up casting their vote. You know, there were a few who did not cast their vote or could not cast their vote because of varied reasons. But more interestingly and more alarmingly, if you can call it that, 11 MPs' votes were invalid in spite of the mock drills and everything else that had taken place yesterday. Now, you know, in a vote that is as important as this, there should not have been any invalid votes.
Well, yes, there should not have been theoretically, but then when it comes to practical level, Frank, mistakes do happen in elections, and despite the fact that this was one of the very, very prominent election, and there were all kind of measures which were taken by the respective strategy makers of both sides, that's the opposition and the government, with the Prime Minister himself stressing on the fact that all members have to go ahead and cast their vote in a proper manner. Now, this emerged from the fact that during the presidential election, the number of votes which were termed invalid was much larger than these 11 votes which have been termed invalid in the vice presidential election. So we can simply hope that the members of the Electoral College will not repeat that particular mistake after 5 years, when the same day comes again for the election of a new vice president and a new president.
Indeed. All right, Vishal Daya, we'll have to leave that. Thank you so much for joining us with all those details there. Well, M. Venkaiah Naidu has been elected as the 13th Vice President of India. NDA candidate Naidu defeated Congress-led UPA pick Gopal Krishna Gandhi. The voting ended with 98.21% of members of Parliament exercising their franchise. 771 out of 785 MPs had cast their vote. Naidu got 516 votes, while his rival and former West Bengal Governor Gopal Krishna Gandhi received 244 votes. 14 members could not turn up for the voting for various reasons. Addressing the media after his election, Naidu expressed his gratitude to all those who supported him. Congratulating Naidu, his rival Gopal Krishna Gandhi said the election had been a fight for constitutional principles.
771 votes were polled, out of which 760 were valid and 11 were invalid. The quota sufficient to get a candidate elected was determined by dividing the total number of the first preference votes secured by both candidates by 2 and then adding 1 to the quotient. The said quota was 381. As all of you are aware, the value of votes for the presidential election is 1. Shri Venkaiah Naidu M has secured 516 votes as first preference votes, and Shri Gopala Krishna 244 votes. As the first preference votes secured by Shri Venkaiah Naidu M was greater than the requisite quota, I, in my capacity as returning officer, declare Shri Venkaiah Naidu M duly elected to the office of the Vice President of India.
Venkaiah Naidu being declared as India's next Vice President. Thanking all those who voted in his support, the Vice President-elect spelled out his plans for the task ahead. Prime Minister Narendra Modi led BJP leaders, including Party Chief Amit Shah, in congratulating the Vice President-elect. Voting started in Parliament at 10 a.m. on Saturday to elect the country's new Vice President. Even before the start, it was a contest that was heavily tilted in favour of the ruling NDA's candidate, Venkaiah Naidu, who was among the earliest to arrive to cast his vote.
There is no my party or your party. Now I am a non-party man, and the majority of the political parties in India are supporting my candidature.
The opposition's candidate Gopal Krishna Gandhi maintained that it was not a competition between individuals but a fight for constitutional principles.
एनडीए के प्रत्याशी बहुत अनुभवी व्यक्ति हैं, उनके साथ मेरा कोई कंपटीशन या कॉन्टेस्ट है ऐसी बात नहीं है। वो तकनीकी तौर पे है, पर उससे भी ज़्यादा दो व्यक्तियों और नहीं दो किसी दलों के बीच में है। ये एक मेरे समझ में संवैधानिक सिद्धांतों पर टिकी हुई एक लड़त है।
Shortly afterwards, around 30 minutes after the voting began, Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived to cast his vote. He was followed by other senior BJP leaders.
सबसे बड़ा लोकतांत्रिक देश है और इसलिए इस लोकतांत्रिक प्रणाली में हायर पोस्ट, जिसको हम कह सकते हैं सर्वोच्च, वो दोनों इस पे जिस तरीके से वोटिंग होता है, ये एक महत्वपूर्ण बात है कि वोट हो करके लोग चुनते हैं, पहले जनप्रतिनिधि चुना जाता है, फिर जनप्रतिनिधि अपने सर्वोच्च पद को चुनता है, तो इसलिए ये एक बहुत अच्छी प्रणाली भारत की।
In a massive way, Venkaiah ji is a fine embodiment, a good human being, understand the polity of India, the Parliament of India. He is our elder brother.
वेंकैया नायडू जी गांव गरीब किसान, झुग्गी झोपड़ी के इंसान के सरोकार के प्रति एक समर्पित व्यक्तित्व हैं। उसके साथ ही साथ संसदीय व्यवस्था और लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों के प्रति बहुत समर्पित और उसके बहुत जानकार हैं। निश्चित तौर से उनके उपराष्ट्रपति बनने से, उनका राज्यसभा का चेयरमैन बनना, जो हमारे संसदीय परंपराएं हैं, संसदीय मूल्य हैं, संसदीय व्यवस्थाएं हैं, उनको मजबूत करेगा।
Opposition leaders led by Congress President Sonia Gandhi voted next. BJP veteran Lal Krishna Advani also cast his vote. Almost 90.83% voting was recorded till 1 p.m. By the end, 98.21% had cast their ballots. Venkaiah Naidu, who resigned from the BJP soon after being nominated by the NDA, did not campaign for this election. Instead, he wrote a letter to MPs seeking their support. As Vice President, Venkaiah Naidu will be the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, the upper house of Parliament, and will have the responsibility of setting the agenda for the smooth functioning of the House. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, after winning an overwhelming two-thirds majority, India's new Vice President Venkaiah Naidu is flooded with congratulatory messages. Let's listen in to some of the reactions that have come in.
It's a great symbol of the cross-party acceptance of the leadership, the wisdom, and the future of the Rajya Sabha is safe in his hands. We are very, very pleased with the result. 516 with a difference of 272. That's the halfway mark in the Lok Sabha. And for a Vice President election to have a difference of 272 is a matter of great pride and satisfaction for all of us.
कि देश कर रहा है। वेंकैया जी स्वयं में गरीबों के लिए बहुत ही हृदय में सम्मान है। देश की राजनीति, देश की संसद, देश की परंपरा को समझते हैं, सबों का सम्मान करते हैं। तो उनकी अगुवाई में भारतीय संवैधानिक आचरण और आगे बढ़ेगा, राज्यसभा भी और प्रभावी होगी। तो उनका हम बहुत ही अभिनंदन करते हैं।
बहुत हमारे लिए भी, एनडीए के लिए भी बधाई, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिए बधाई का अवसर है, क्योंकि 4 संवैधानिक पदों पे भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता, राष्ट्रपति, उपराष्ट्रपति, प्रधानमंत्री, लोकसभा स्पीकर, और आज वाकई हमारे लिए खुशी का दिन है, बधाई का दिन है। और वेंकैया जी का जो अनुभव है, उसका लाभ देश को भी होगा, राज्यसभा को भी होगा।
एक साधारण परिवार से अलग अलग जिम्मेदारियां पूरी करते हुए एक साधारण परिवार से उपराष्ट्रपति बनना, ये एक पूरे भारतवर्ष के लिए गर्व की बात है। और वेंकैया जी को बहुत बहुत बधाई और उनके सभी समर्थकों को बहुत बहुत बधाई।
ये कहा जाए कि कांग्रेस का भोग जो पड़ गया है, कांग्रेस मुक्त हिंदुस्तान एक ऐसी हकीकत बन गई है कि अब कांग्रेस ही नहीं, कांग्रेस के समर्थक दल भी अब भाजपा, एनडीए और उनके पॉलिसीज के साथ खड़े हैं, उनके कैंडिडेट के साथ खड़े हैं।
Well, it's time for a short break now, but on the other side, we'll bring you all the other big news from across the country and the world. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
The splendid, grand and massive neo-Buddhist copper dome of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It gets its influence from stupa at Sanchi. The dome is more than twice the height of the rest of the building. The reinforced concrete shell of the outer dome began to be formed during the beginning of 1929. The last stone of the dome was laid on April 6, 1929.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervor dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed hope that India and China will find a solution to the Doklam Standard dialogue. Speaking at the Samvad Global Initiative on Conflict Avoidance and Environment Consciousness through video conferencing, Prime Minister Modi said, and I quote, "As interconnected and interdependent world of 21st century battles a number of global challenges from terrorism to climate change, I am confident that the solutions will be found through Asia's oldest traditions of dialogue and debate," unquote. The Prime Minister's emphasis on dialogue is seen to refer to China, as it comes 2 days after External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj said diplomatic channels were the only way forward. India and China are locked, in a prolonged standoff in the area in the Sikkim sector since the 16th of June. The conflict started after Chinese troops began constructing a road near the Bhutan-Trai junction. Bhutan has protested against the construction, saying that the area belongs to it. Well, in other news now, the Congress today condemned the attack on party Vice President Rahul Gandhi's convoy in Gujarat on Friday. While Gandhi claimed it was a pre-planned attack by the BJP and RSS workers, senior leaders blamed the centre for not providing adequate security to an SPG protectee. Following massive protests by party workers, a BJP youth wing leader was arrested on Saturday.
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi alleged on Saturday that the attack on his convoy in Gujarat was orchestrated by BJP and RSS workers.
कल की घटना में इतना बड़ा पत्थर बीजेपी के वर्कर ने मेरी ओर मारा, मेरे पीएसओ को लगा। मोदी जी और बीजेपी आरएसएस का राजनीति का तरीका है और क्या कह सकते हैं।
He, however, urged party workers in Gujarat to help people in the flood-affected areas of the state instead of staging protests. Congress workers staged protests in Delhi and Gujarat, demanding action against those who pelted stones on Rahul Gandhi's convoy. Senior Congress leaders also condemned the incident, calling it a murderous attack on the party vice president.
What happened yesterday, what is happening for the last few months in various parts of the country, an atmosphere of fear and intimidation, the cult of violence, we can say, and we have apprehensions, that this is galloping fascism in India. And we want to make absolutely clear that Indian National Congress has a history of 132 years. We have seen challenges, we have seen ups and downs. Neither Shri Rahul Gandhi nor the Congress leadership can ever be intimidated or suppressed. We shall stand and speak and fight.
On Friday, Rahul Gandhi was touring the flood-hit Banaskantha region in Gujarat when alleged BJP workers pelted stones at his convoy. Reports say Gandhi was sitting in the first car of his convoy instead of his bulletproof vehicle. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, 3 Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorists were killed in an encounter in Kashmir this morning. The terrorists were killed in Sopore area of Baramulla district in Kashmir in a gun battle with security forces. The security forces launched an operation after receiving information about the presence of Lashkar terrorists in Amargarh area of Sopore. The militants opened fire on the security forces, who retaliated, killing the militants. 3 AK-47 rifles have been recovered from them. So, poor encounter comes just days after Lashkar-e-Toiba Chief Commander Abu Dujana, along with one other militant, Arif Butt, was killed in an encounter with security forces.
कॉर्डन इस्टेब्लिश करने के बाद हमने उन टेररिस्टों से हमने दरखास्त करी कि आप लोग करिए, पर दरखास्त करने पे उन्होंने हमारे पर फायर खोल दिया और फिर हमने फायर का जवाब फायर से किया है और ये ऑपरेशन सुबह 6 बजे तक हमने तीनों टेररिस्ट को हमने खत्म कर दिया था.
Moving on to some sports news now. On the third day of the second India-Sri Lanka test, Kusal Mendis scored his third test 100, while Dimuth Karunaratne was unbeaten on 92 for Sri Lanka in the second innings. Earlier, Ravichandran Ashwin took 5 wickets as India enforced the follow-on. Dimuth Karunaratne's 92 runs and Kushal Mendis's 110 runs knock solidified Sri Lanka's second innings as they managed to put up 209 runs for the loss of 2 wickets at the end of the day. Earlier, Ravichandran Ashwin had a 5 wickets haul, while Ravindra Jadeja and Mohammad Shami took 2 wickets each as Sri Lanka were bundled out for 183 in the first innings. India enforced the follow-on with a massive lead of 439 runs after declaring their first innings on 622 for 9. Well, here's a roundup of the other sports news in Sports Beat. India's star boxer Vijender Singh will take on China's Zulfikar Maimai in his 9th professional fight in Mumbai today. Both the boxers will have a chance to claim double titles in the winner-takes-all Battleground Asia fight. Vijender holds the WBO Asia Pacific Super Middleweight title and Zulfikar holds the WBO Oriental Super Middleweight title. The Indian pair of Joshna Chinnappa and Deepika Pallikal Karthik settled for a bronze medal after losing to English duo of Jenny Duncalf and Alison Waters in the semi-finals of the WSF World Double Squash Championship in Manchester. The second-seeded Indian combo lost the game 11-6, 6-11, 8-11. Joshna and Deepika had defeated Canadians Samantha Cornet and Nicole Todd to ensure that India will return with one medal at least. Second-seeded Kei Nishikori saved 3 match points before beating American Tommy Paul 3-6, 7-6, 6-4 in the City Open quarterfinal in Washington. In another match, fifth-seeded Alexander Zverev beat Daniil Medvedev 6-2, 6-4 in less than an hour to win his quarterfinal match. Sok won his quarterfinal against Canadian third-seeded Milos Raonic 7-5, 6-4. While Anderson came through a 3-setter with a 6-4, 4-6, 6-3 victory over Yuki Bambri of India. Well, that's it on this newscast. Good night.